Welcome to the Vitality Equation, exploring research in health and well-being one paper at a time. We're diving into some fascinating stuff today, and I'm really excited to explore this particular paper with you both.
Glad to be here. I'm always up for dissecting some new research, especially when it has potential real-world applications. Bring it on.
Me too. The intersection of science and well-being is where it's at. I'm curious to see what we're unpacking today.
All right, so today we're taking a look at a paper titled The Temporal and Perceptual Characteristics of Emotion-Induced Blindness. Sounds a little sci-fi, right?
Emotion-induced blindness, interesting. So, is this like when you're so upset you can't see what's right in front of you, but like scientifically?
That's kind of what I'm gathering. It's probably more nuanced than just being clumsy when you're sad. But the general idea sounds like emotional state impacting perception.
Exactly. The paper explores how our emotional state, specifically when we're processing emotionally charged stimuli, can affect our ability to consciously perceive things happening around us, especially visually. It's like our brains prioritize the emotional stuff and, in a sense, filter out other information.
Okay, so the brain's got limited bandwidth, and when something emotionally significant pops up, it hogs all the resources. Makes sense from a survival perspective, I guess. Run from the bear first. Notice the pretty flowers later.
Yeah, survival instincts kicking in. It's like when you're driving and a car cuts you off. Suddenly, you're laser focused on that car and might not even register the billboard you just passed. Only it sounds like this study goes deeper into the specifics of how and when this happens.
Precisely. The researchers are trying to pinpoint the temporal aspects, the timing, and the perceptual characteristics. What exactly we're missing when this emotional blindness occurs. They use different techniques, like showing participants emotionally evocative images, followed by target images, and then measuring how well they can recall the target.
So, they're trying to see how long the emotional blockage lasts and what kinds of things get blocked, right? Are they using like fMRI to see what parts of the brain are lighting up during these emotional moments?
That would be interesting if they were. Knowing the brain regions involved would give us some really solid clues. I wonder if the amygdala, the emotion center, is hyperactive during these events, effectively drowning out other sensory inputs.
Good point. While this particular paper doesn't seem to use fMRI, other studies on similar phenomena do. This one focuses more on the behavioral aspects, measuring reaction times, accuracy in identifying targets, things like that. They're trying to map out the timeline of the attentional blink, as they call it, when attention is captured by the emotional stimulus.
The attentional blink, I like that term. It's like the brain's DVR skipping a few frames when something dramatic happens. So, if you're already predisposed to certain emotional responses, does that make you more susceptible to this blindness?
That's a really interesting question. I would think so. If you have a heightened emotional reactivity, your brain might be more easily hijacked by these stimuli. It makes me think about people with anxiety disorders. Their threat detection system is already on high alert, so they might be experiencing this attentional blink more frequently.
That's a great connection. It suggests that understanding this mechanism could be really helpful for managing anxiety and other conditions where emotional dysregulation is a factor. Imagine being able to train yourself to minimize the attentional blink, to stay more present and aware, even when strong emotions are present.
It opens up some fascinating avenues for cognitive behavioral therapy, actually. We could potentially design CBT techniques to help people become more aware of these emotional blinks and develop strategies to consciously redirect their attention. It's like learning to override the brain's automatic prioritizing system. That's a clever idea. Paying attention to the physiological markers of emotion, the racing heart, the sweaty palms, could give you an early warning signal that your attention is about to get hijacked. Then you can consciously engage a strategy to stay grounded.
It makes me think about how physical activity could play a role too. Exercise is known to regulate the nervous system and reduce stress hormones. Maybe a quick burst of movement like jumping jacks or a brisk walk could help interrupt the emotional hijacking and restore focus, especially if you pair it with the mindfulness techniques we were just talking about.
That combination is compelling. Mindful movement, like Tai Chi or yoga, could be particularly effective. You're not just getting the physical benefits of exercise, but also the mental benefits of focused attention and body awareness. It's like a double whammy against the attentional blink.
Plus, exercise has been shown to improve sleep quality, and we all know that sleep deprivation can wreak havoc on emotional regulation. So, getting enough sleep could be a crucial preventative measure. If you're well rested, your brain is simply better equipped to handle emotional challenges without getting overwhelmed.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the quantity of sleep, but also the quality. Establishing a consistent sleep schedule, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, and optimizing your sleep environment can make a huge difference. You're basically setting your brain up for success and managing its attentional resources.
It's all interconnected, isn't it? Diet, exercise, sleep, mindfulness, they all play a role in regulating our emotional state and influencing our susceptibility to this emotion-induced blindness. It's a holistic picture, and the more we understand the specific mechanisms involved, the better we can tailor our lifestyle choices to optimize our well-being.
So, what are some real-world applications of this research beyond just general well-being? Where could this knowledge be particularly useful?
Well, one area that jumps to mind is high stress professions. Think about surgeons, pilots, first responders, people who need to maintain focus and make critical decisions under pressure. If they're experiencing emotion-induced blindness, even for a split second, it could have serious consequences.
Definitely. And it's not just about life or death situations. Even in less extreme scenarios, like a teacher managing a classroom or a customer service representative dealing with an angry client, the ability to stay present and aware is crucial for effective communication and problem solving.
This also resonates with how we design user interfaces. If someone's using an app or a website and encounters something frustrating, are we causing emotional blindness that prevents them from finding the help they need? Understanding how emotions impact perception could lead to much more user-friendly design.
That's a really insightful point. By understanding how emotional triggers can disrupt attention, designers could strategically place important information or calls to action in areas that are less likely to be affected by the attentional blink. It's all about anticipating user emotions and designing for them.
And imagine applying this to education. Recognizing that students might experience attentional blinks when facing challenging or emotionally charged material could inform teaching strategies. Breaking down complex concepts into smaller, more manageable chunks, incorporating mindfulness exercises, and creating a supportive learning environment could help minimize the impact of emotional interference.
That's a great connection. It makes me think about test anxiety. The fear of failure can trigger a huge emotional response, leading to an attentional blink that makes it even harder to recall information. Teaching students techniques to manage their anxiety and stay present during exams could significantly improve their performance.
Going back to the point about high-stress professions, I'm wondering if specific training programs could be developed to help people mitigate emotion-induced blindness in real time. Perhaps simulations that expose them to stressful scenarios and teach them techniques like breathwork, grounding exercises, or even just consciously shifting their focus could be beneficial.
That sounds like a great idea. It's like mental resilience training, but with a specific focus on overcoming the attentional blink. And it's not just about the training itself, but also about creating a culture of awareness where people are encouraged to recognize their own emotional triggers and support each other in staying present and focused.
Building on that, I wonder if biofeedback technology could be used to provide real-time feedback on a person's emotional state. Imagine a device that detects the early signs of an attentional blink and provides a gentle prompt to refocus. It could be a valuable tool for individuals in high-stakes situations.
Ooh, like a wearable device that buzzes when your heart rate spikes or your breathing becomes shallow, reminding you to take a deep breath and regain focus. That would be fascinating. The quantified self meets emotional regulation.
Exactly. And it goes back to that idea of interoception. The more attuned you are to your body's signals, the better equipped you are to anticipate and manage your emotional responses. Wearable technology could be a powerful tool for enhancing that awareness.
Okay, so if we're thinking about future research directions, where do we each see the most promising areas for exploration based on this paper?
From my perspective, I'd love to see more research on the interplay between physical activity, sleep, and emotion-induced blindness. Are there specific types of exercise or sleep interventions that are particularly effective at mitigating this phenomenon? And how do individual differences in physiology and genetics influence those responses? Personalized exercise and sleep prescriptions to combat emotional interference. That's my ideal research direction.
I'm really interested in exploring the potential of mindfulness-based interventions. Can we develop targeted meditation techniques that specifically address the attentional blink? And how can we integrate these techniques into daily life to create lasting improvements in emotional regulation and overall well-being? Maybe looking at specific brainwave patterns during meditation and correlating them with reduced emotional blindness would be a worthwhile direction. Or even more practically, seeing if incorporating mindfulness practices during particularly challenging or stressful tasks could improve performance by reducing the attentional blink.
For me, it's all about cognitive restructuring. How can we develop more effective CBT techniques to help people consciously redirect their attention when they experience an emotional hijack? Can we use virtual reality simulations to create realistic scenarios that trigger emotional responses and allow people to practice these techniques in a safe and controlled environment? I think there's huge potential in combining CBT with neurofeedback to provide real-time feedback on brain activity and help people learn to regulate their emotional responses more effectively. Sort of like CBT meets the metaverse for emotional health training.
Those are all fantastic directions. I think the key is to move beyond just understanding the phenomenon of emotion-induced blindness and start developing practical, evidence-based interventions that can help people improve their lives. It's about translating the science into tangible benefits.
Yeah, it's exciting to think about the potential impact of this research. By understanding how our emotions influence our perception, we can develop strategies to stay more present, focused, and resilient in the face of challenges. It's about empowering ourselves to navigate the emotional landscape of life with greater awareness and skill.
Definitely. And it highlights the importance of a holistic approach to well-being. It's not just about addressing mental health in isolation, but also recognizing the interconnectedness of mind, body, and environment. Integrating cognitive, behavioral, and lifestyle interventions is the key to unlocking our full potential.
Well, that was a really insightful discussion. I feel like we've only scratched the surface of this topic, but it's definitely given me a lot to think about. Thanks for diving in with me.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure exploring this with you both. Hopefully, this has sparked some new ideas and inspiration for our listeners as well.
Agreed. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep striving for a more vital and fulfilling life.